Hello Katie Vaz, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back if this is your first time seeing me. This tutorial is going to be showing how I stitched this dress all together. This was a dress I made for my birthday. My birthday was the 16th of August, and I created this cotton print and pattern dress inspired by an Abercrombie and Fitch dress. If you haven't seen the pattern tutorial already, I'm going to link that down below, so you check that out first before you come back and check out this sewing tutorial. So if you'd like to see how I stitched this dress all together, make sure to keep on watching. This project is split into two, and this is the second half. In the first video, I shared all of the materials, all of the little accessories, as well as how I made the sewing pattern from scratch using my measurement. That I'm going to tag on the screen here, so you can go check that out if you haven't seen it already, and then you can create your own pattern and follow along this sewing tutorial. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the pattern I made from that video to cut my fabric. I'm working with Ankara in combination with plain cotton. I'm using black cotton for the main dress, and then this beautiful polka dot Ankara that has yellow, reds, black and white. I went ahead to cut out all of the pieces I needed for my dress itself, as well as all of the pieces I'm going to be needing for the lining. So I have all of my pieces cut out for the main dress. I have cut the mid front, the side front, the side back and the center back with the plain black cotton, and then the gathered piece on the side with the print. I tried to play around with the positioning of these shapes and the colors, because the print has more yellow on this side, black in the middle, and then black and white, and then this shape on the sides. So I just cut two pairs of this, a pair for one side, and then last minute I decided to actually add in seam pockets. These are very simple to cut, very simple to make. I cut this straight onto fabric, but I'm going to link a tutorial here. I think in my jumpsuit tutorial I actually showed how to do the pattern. If you haven't seen that already, please check that out. So these are the main pieces for the main dress itself. For the lining, I just use the same pattern to cut all of the lining pieces in simple black poly cotton. It's a similar weight to the cotton I'm working with, but the difference with the lining is I made it shorter by 4 inches from the hemline. So it's the same width, the same everything else, just that it is shorter along the hemline. So that way I'm going to fold the hemline of the lining separate from the hemline of the actual dress itself. Okay, now that I have everything cut out, I'm just going to go ahead to start with stitching up the main dress first, and then probably in the same order sew up all of the lining pieces. So I join the lining to the main dress along the neckline, and then as I'm joining the neckline, I will add the shoulder strap and then fit the zip. I think that would be the plan. So let's get on to sewing. Once all of the dress pieces are cut out, we can actually go ahead and start sewing. And the first thing I'm going to do is to gather the side skirt onto that top half of the dress. Now to do this, I'm going to be sewing with the longest stitch on my machine. That is going to help me create my gathers. But if you're watching at this point, please give this video a thumbs up so it helps to reach more people on YouTube. Now I'm going to grab the thread on that stitch I just made, and because I didn't do a back stitch, I'm going to be able to create gathers by just pulling the threads like so. Now I'm going to move the gathers and spread them evenly before going ahead to join it to the top half that goes on the side of the dress. That way we have an entire side piece that we can fit into that middle panel that sits on the front of the dress. Now I'm going to take this to my machine, and I'm going to be sewing on a 1 centimeter seam allowance, just arranging and spreading the gathers as I stitch along. After sewing this in, I went ahead to overlock that seam. This is really optional since the dress is fully lined, so you don't really need to do this step. You can skip it if you want to. I repeated the same thing on the other side, and I ended up with these pieces here. Now I'm going to join all 3 panels together, so we have an entire piece for the front that can then be joined to the back. Now off screen, I had gathered in the side panels for the back skirt onto the side back pieces, and those I'm going to stitch together in preparation to be joined to the front. Now this particular step here, I am sewing up those pieces for the front. You know, the 3 panels that we had, I'm joining them up together so I have one entire front piece that I can connect to the back to make the entirety of the dress. On the back panels, I connected the side skirts to the side top as well to that middle back piece. Since there's going to be a zip on the center back, that's why there is like an opening on that center back edge, and you have a piece for the left and the right hand side on the back of the dress. Now because I want my dress to have pockets, this is the point I'm going to add the pocket bags. You can skip this if you don't want pockets. I just love my dresses to have pockets, and here I am pinning the right side of one side of the pocket to this side of my front, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm just matching the very edge where the skirt seam is, and that way it just guides me on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the pocket bags onto the front and on the back along the side seam. Once I'm done doing that, you can overlock at this step, or you can just go ahead to join the side seam together. I think I overlocked. It wasn't compulsory, but I just like to have my things tidy on the inside of the garment. Once I was joining all of the pocket bags along the side seam, I'm going in here to put right sides together of my front and back pieces in place. So left side of the front to left side of the back, right sides together. Now with one continuous stitch, I'm going to join the side seams of the front to the back on a 1 centimeter seam allowance. I am making my way along and around this pocket edge like so, and I'm going to make my way back onto the side seam, lift my footer, turn the needle and turn my piece so I can stitch my way down towards the hemline. I repeated the same thing on the other side of my dress, and this is what it is looking like so far. You can try it on at this point just to check if you like the fit. You can also give it a press just to start relaxing all of your stitches so everything starts to look tidy and look together. Moving on to adding the zip to the center back edge that is open at this point, I'm fitting in an invisible zip. I have a separate tutorial where I showed like how to properly sew a zip and why and the ways to get it done right, but you ideally want to have the zip open and then pin into your open seam like so and stitch that in place. I always like to have it open because I find it a lot easier to fold open the zip a little bit as I stitch it onto the seam. In this case is the center back edge, and I'm using this narrow footer that allows me to get close enough to the teeth so it looks nice and clean. Once both sides of the zip are stitched into the center back, I'm going in here to sew the bottom edge close so I have the entire center back of the dress stitched in place, and I'm going to try it on to check the fit. Please ignore my bra strap and my low energy. I'm just recovering from an illness, so let's just do the fitting for this dress. This is what it fits like on now. I'm so glad I didn't make this dress very tight. It's a beautiful, comfortable fit. Everything is just nice and smooth. It sits really, really elegantly on the body. I say if you even have like a wedding or like a cocktail event, you could almost make this floor length and have it as a gown rather than a dress, which I've done here. I just know that as this length, I will get more wear out of this. Like this, I can wear it with flats, with heels, with trainers. I can dress this up or down. So I'm happy with everything so far. The fit is cool. Nice. Okay, not bad. One change I will make that I can see straight off is the neckline. There's a little gaping there, which you can either get rid of through this seam here, so through here and there, or you can add like a bust dart here to get rid of it. So whichever fit you prefer, you can go for. I feel like I almost likely just stitch it away through here because that seam is already there, so it's like a no-brainer. I'll just stitch it in like that, stitch the next one in, and then I'm going to attach the straps along here. I think I'm just a bit torn whether I want to do normal straps or just make it halter neck. I'm conflicted. I still don't know which I prefer because the back already sits really nicely. I don't need to do much to the back of this dress, so if I make it halter neck, it won't be a bad idea. But the original dress design had the straight strap, and then it had the halter neck strap as well, so it had 2 strap styles. We'll see. Let me first make this change, sew all the lining panels together, and then just make the straps down and see which one I prefer. But this is really cute, very, very elegant. Like, this is definitely like I'm grown and sexy type of dress. Like, ooh. The next step is to add the shoulder straps, and for this I have decided to work with a bias tape where it has 2 sides that you would then add your ring and your double ring to create this adjustable strap. I have decided to create a dedicated tutorial for this, so you can just follow along and create your strap of whatever thickness or length that you are comfortable with. I find having an adjustable strap just gives the dress the flexibility of adjusting how it sits on your body. Once you're done with the strap and you have it set aside, you would need to join all of your lining panels together in the same order that we stitched the main dress. So you would want to gather the side skirt onto that side top panel. You would want to fit the front panels together, fit all the back pieces together, and then join it along the side seam so you have everything connected with just the center back edge open. Once that is stitched in place, I'm actually going to grab the shoulder strap and then pin it along the neckline. You want to keep the part of that has the adjuster where you want it to be. I typically like mine on the back. Some people like theirs in the front. You can choose wherever you would like yours to be. So I'm just pinning the edge of the strap along the edge of the neckline like so. I'm going to do this for both sides, and then I'm actually going to use my lining to finish off the neckline and the center back edge of my dress. It's always a great way to finish off that center back edge on the inside, so when you're zipping up the dress you don't see any raw edges. It's like an option that you can consider. So I'm just going in here to put right sides together of my lining panel all joined together against the right side of my main dress, and I am just pinning side seam to side seam, center back to center back, center front to center front, just all of the notched points together. And if everything has been joined using the same seam allowance, they should really match, else you can go in and make any changes that you want to at this point. Once everything is pinned in place, I'm going to take this in my machine and I'm going to be sewing starting from one side of the center back edge, using the lining to finish off the edge where the zip is. Then I'm going to stitch along that edge, turn around, stitch along the neckline, stitch along the other side of the center back, and just have like a nice beautiful finished piece along the neckline and along the center back edges as well. Like we did for the main dress, we will also need to go in to sew together the bottom edge of the lining panels that we just stitched onto the main dress along the neckline and the center back edge. So I'm just doing up the zip so that part is nicely tucked away, and then I'm going to grab the bottom edges of my lining that is still loose and open at this point, and I'm going to be sewing them from the hemline and stitch it as close as possible to the very point where the zip ends. This is going to ensure that the zip edge, that dangling side I wouldn't sew to anything, is tucked away nice and neatly. The last step I'm doing in here is I'm just going into fold and stitch the hemline. I'd already overlocked the hemline of the main dress and the hemline of the lining as well, and I'm just finishing them off like this. I'm going to give my piece a press to relax all of the stitching, and this is what the final piece looks like. I think I really like how comfortable it is. A lot of times when I don't get the ease and the fit right on a dress, you just have this feeling that you can't eat and you can't sit properly in a dress. But this dress is so comfortable, very classy, very sophisticated, is giving like grown, like all kinds of sophisticatedness, and I'm living for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you be recreating this, don't forget to tag me on social media at Kim Dave Designs. I'd love to see your recreations, how you play around with the length, your fabric, the fit, and all that good stuff. Thank you once again for all of the love on my birthday. You guys were so lovely, so kind, all the messages, all the prayers. I felt so loved in the best way possible. Also, the next video is going to be my birthday vlog. I'm going to be sharing all that I got up to, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It will most likely come up after this tutorial, so if you're not subscribed already, subscribe at this point. Turn on the notification bell as well, so you know when this birthday vlog goes up on the channel. Until my next video, have a good morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are. Bye.